Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jack Berry, and today I am in the fastest growing community apparently in the state of Michigan, and it really surprises me. It is Hudson, which is just west of Novi, and I'm with Harry Bowers, who is a golf course architect who also has designs on the food and beverage service right here at the, what's the name of it, Harry?
It's the new Hudson Cafe. So we are, like Jack said, we are the fastest growing community in the state, according to housing data.
Now, how did a golf guy get into this business?
A friend of mine from college, he was actually the captain of our golf team at Schoolcraft College. And Dan and I have known each other for a long time, and we were talking one day about we would like to not travel as much in retirement, and somehow he talked me into this cafe. And my oldest son, Jeff, who is very creative, he built the whole thing, and he came up with the idea, and it's been actually kind of fun.
Well, good. This is a busy corner here, right on Grand River in Hudson. Yeah. Place that used to be before the freeway. It was even busier along here. Right. But you've been busy in another respect too, and with floods and flood insurance and golf courses getting flooded. And a hurricane.
That was kind of funny, Jack. I was finishing up my normal 2 projects down in Florida, and got a friend of mine, Frank Kincor from Marquee Consulting, who's also an ex-Michigan State guy and ex-golf course superintendent. He was running a lot of the golf courses for Hilton. And he called me one day and he said, what do you know about writing insurance reports for golf courses? I said, well, I've done a few of them, usually for, the general managers, but what about the insurance industry? And I said, well, I can show you what I got. So I showed him, I sent him a couple of reports, and he called me back immediately and said, I showed them to the insurance company, and they just love it. And how many of these can you do? And it was October, Jack. I'm thinking, well, I'm going back to Michigan and hang out on Lake Huron, do some perch fishing. And I said, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them, because that's not enough. He said, we got 39 courses in Florida.
I mean, of course, it's not building courses anymore, but they're trying to rescue them with the hurricanes across the south, across Houston area, the flooding, and then over to Puerto Rico, and you've been involved in both of them.
Yeah, it's just grown into something that I just never imagined, I guess. And it makes sense. The insurance guy was explaining to us that, these poor insurance adjusters, when a disaster hits, they can tell you how much the roof costs or the windows or this, but when golf courses come across their desk, they don't have any idea.
They don't know how much grass costs,
right,
or drainage.
Yeah, a guy tells him my bunkers were all flooded, and he's got no clue. What's a bunker?
So you said there were like 39 properties?
That was just in Florida, and then we picked up another 13 in Houston, and then the fires started in Napa Valley, and we went out there, and now the big push is going to be Puerto Rico. And, of course, they're still in really rough shape, but we've got 13 on the books now, and it's growing. And they're actually in Puerto Rico, they're going to ask us to be involved in maybe some redesign, but more project management, and actually help them get back. So it's going to be a busy year, and that's on top of my regular 2 projects I do every summer.
Now they don't have in the courses at Michigan State. They don't in turf grass management or anything. Do they have anything on burned grass or?
That's a good thing, Jack. Maybe I should approach them. I remember taking an insurance risk class when I was at Michigan State. I should call a professor. I might be able to get a deal there.
So where all have you been?
Well, like I said, we're down in Florida. I do my 2 renovation projects every year. I have been doing that for the last 15 years. This year I'll be in Jensen Beach, Island Dunes Country Club, and then Boca Country Club, which is part of the Boca Resorts, which I did 2 years ago. and then this insurance stuff. I'm sure Puerto Rico is going to grow pretty big. But the other big thing we've got going is, Ray Floyd, my long-term partner, we had been doing some preliminary work in Saudi Arabia.
Speaking of bunkers.
Yeah, that's right. And, we went over there and we looked at everything. And at the time, Prince Mohammed bin Salman was just a prince. And now, of course, he's the crown prince, and he's going to be the king. And his brother's in charge of the tourism department, which they don't have any. But it's all part of this whole, big push. And we've got 36 holes planned there, and it looks like that might have some life.
Well, it seems over in the Middle East, why you've got Dubai and the race to the Dubai Cup and all of that, and all of a sudden you think, what on earth are we talking about here? And then they show the area, and they've got all these skyscrapers, one after another. I mean, it looks like bigger than downtown Manhattan.
It's funny, when we were in Riyadh, I asked, a couple of people, what do you do for fun? I mean, they're really locked down. They're not allowed to do much of anything over there.
Right, there's not a lot of fun there.
No, and that's what he said. They all go to Dubai.
Yeah.
That's where they go. That's their vacation spot. They go,
They have the big horse races there.
Everything, the golf, the horses, the ocean. I guess they do everything, and they can do it over there legally.
So what?
Maybe I should be careful what I say.
So how many times have you been over there? And
just twice. But it's 3-4 years ago, when we were getting ready to do this project, they started having the problem down in Yemen with the terrorism and whatnot.
Problem.
Yes, a large problem, and they've I guess through the help of the United States, they've kind of got a handle on that, and they think it's going to start moving. Matter of fact, they were telling me they've just opened up lands along the Red Sea, and they've got Richard Branson, the Virgin Atlantic guy, involved in that, and they're going to open up. So I would imagine some of the other Gulf architects are going to pop up along that area, along the Red Sea.
Well, there has been a lot of golf along the Red Sea. Is that part of Israel or part of Egypt?
Egypt.
It's Egypt.
It's Egypt, yeah.
And they've got big resorts there,
Yeah.
and also had a few problems.
Matter of fact, Raymond told me, he says, I'm only going to go over there because I want to see the pyramids.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly over the pyramids. Raymond, I'm not sure they'll let you fly over the pyramids, but...
Well, it's why not? Okay, you're the mixologist here
I'll
in
be
Hudson.
behind the bar.
Tell us all about. Give us a little description of the place and how you put it together.
Well, it's funny, like I was saying, my friend Dan and I started talking about it, and my oldest son, when he was at University of Michigan, he worked at Amir's Deli downtown, which is, they're not like Zingerman's, but
Right.
close. Nobody's Zingerman's. But he got to, learn about the custom deli sandwiches and whatnot, and we really got talking about it. We decided that's what this area needed, and we were right about that, by the way. That's our stable. It's lunches, our corned beef and Reuben. People come from miles around. But the other interesting thing was my son was a set designer in Hollywood for almost 7 years, and when he came back here to Detroit when they were filming and whatnot, he got to know all the places to get antiques and stuff for the sets. So when we got ready, we picked this place. It was an office building. So it's not much old about it other than the actual building. It was pretty, open ceilings and everything. And my son got involved, and, the floor is a 80-year-old floor out of the Dearborn Courthouse. Our booths are church pews that were brought out of a church in Detroit, and some of the crown molding and the ceiling and the tin work we got out of Grass Lake at an architectural salvage. It came out of Marshall, Michigan, and Jackson, and so we really tried to give this place an old look, and it's people love it. They just comment about it all the time. They want to talk to my son. Where's your son? How did you do this? And how did you do that? And I think sometimes it wears them out, but hey, they want to hear about it. So, you know, the bar is, you know, the tin underneath the bar. It was a funny story. It came from Detroit, and it's over 100 years old. They tell me it had like 4 coats of paint on it. So last February, when it's freezing, my son sends me out in the parking lot with a wire brush and tells me to start knocking the paint off. Well, I can't tell you how many hours I put in it, and I got most of it off. But at the end, he said, "Dad, just leave some of the paint on. We'll spray it with some polyurethane so it doesn't chip." And
Now, is that the ceiling too? Is that
no,
one of
the
old
ceiling's
tin ceilings?
actually not that old, but this tin was going to go in the ceiling, and then he decided to put it underneath the bar.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I said, people just ask questions about where did this all come from, and I got to turn to my son. He just, you know, we got the 2 doors we have for the bathroom. You'll get a kick out of this. So they have the mail slots, the old mail slots on them, right? Of course, we had to, you know, tack them shut. But I wanted to put female, F-E-M-A-I-L, and male, M-A-I-L, and the building guys, the inspectors wouldn't let me do it. Said they had to be unisex. Now, how bad is that? Huh? Wouldn't that have been cute, female and male? But anyway, the doors are 100 years old, too.
No sense of humor.
No sense of humor, Jack. Not like the golf business. We're always laughing about something, aren't we?
Right. Well, as I recall, you used to be pretty big in hockey around here. Is that?
No, I'm not. I'm not playing hockey anymore, but we're sponsoring a team, so
Good.
I still get to bark from the bench, you know, even though I don't have my skates on.
It's in what's it, South Lyon or?
This New Hudson is right between Novi and South Lyon, and it's right on I-96, like you said, Grand River and Milford Road. And they tell me this used to be the number 7 stop on the
Novi, yeah, Novi is
the
6.
horse, horse drawn carriage that come out here.
Okay, this
So
is
a little bit of history.
yeah, Hudson V11.
That's right.
We've been talking with Harry Bowers, who is back here in Michigan, loving the frozen air of Michigan instead of being down in Florida or even over in Arabia. Although
Wonderful.
I'm not sure I'd want to be there. Harry's been busy trying to work out how all these courses in Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico can be rescued and made healthy again after the hurricane season.
We got to give something back to the game, right, Jack?
Absolutely.